It is Monday. It is yet another episode of the Monday Night Live on cricket.com. And my name is Avnish Hegde, dressed in white. Pretty much BCCI cricket.com collection of what we're trying to do in terms of apparel. Not just joking, just the regular Team India kit. And we have another man in white, Nikhil Popar, who's enjoyed quite a bit of cricket and the news to come with it over this weekend. Nix, how are you?
All good, sir. All good. So much to speak about, bro. The week was lit.
Yeah. It was insane. And speaking of things being lit, I know New Zealand Pakistan is going to be drawing your attention right now because we certainly need the women in green to pull off a result against the White Ferns. Akshay, how's it been with you with all the Women's World Cup coverage?
It's been good, and Plymouth finally gets out. Chalo, Nashra Sandhu has her first. She robbed an absolute sitter early on. But yeah, all in all, it's been a very interesting week. Hopes going down, hopes crashing with Team India not doing well. But on the other hand, it's been a fairly eventful World Cup that way. So it's been great fun watching it, covering it. And then, of course, for those who are practicing, happy Dussehra as well. It's the Dussehra weekend, so it's been packed in Bangalore. It's been pouring in Bangalore. So yeah, all in all, doing fairly well.
Yeah, indeed. Happy Dussehra. And of course, Diwali is not too far away either. So the festivities have started and get cracking in terms of doing the drills right on the Monday Night Live. You guys know what to do. Start liking this video first up before we tell you what we want to discuss. So much of Team India things that we want to talk about. Obviously, the test series starts in a couple of days' time against New Zealand. We'll talk about that. We'll show you the squads and whatnot. We'll also talk about a test starting tomorrow in Multan, the second test, Pakistan, England. Lots gone there with the PCB, making wholesale changes, dropping Babar, and we'll pick the bones about that. We'll also just look back at this T20 International Series that India did hammer Bangladesh at. 297 is what they scored, which is an absolute record. So plenty of records to get into. We'll also talk about Mahila Jayawardene and how he's got the job after he led MI to 3 titles himself as coach. So they're taking a U-turn and they've binned Boucher. And finally, there's lots of things in the best of the rest, including Sri Lanka, West Indies. We'll show you an interview that we did with Colin de Grandhomme and even a certain unwind teaser for this week. Right, so I'll start with Akshay. In terms of how much are you looking forward to India, New Zealand in Bangalore? Are you going to go for the test? Because I was just checking it out in terms of the Paytm Insider and stuff. There's one particular P corporate for 30,000. A test match ticket.
I'm not selling out $30,000, but I am planning on going for day 1 or day 2 if time permits. That is because 16th is when there's no World Cup encounter, so I'm thinking of using my rest day then to sort of go and watch something at the stadium. I love watching tests and T20Is in the stadium, something I've always said before as well. Happy to do that. It's been a while since I watched a test match live, so yeah, I'm going for one.
Okay, Nick, obviously I think you might go for the one in Mumbai because it's Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai. I'm not sure if you got the tickets for that, but are you looking forward to this test series against New Zealand, or do you think, again, it's going to be an inevitable 3-0 for India?
No matter the result, we are here for entertainment. I think there will be lots of it, especially the decks. I don't think we'll see the decks that we saw versus Bangladesh, but the catch there is all 3 venues that are there. They're all venues that support fast bowling more than spin, traditionally, so to speak. So Pune is quick, has good bounce. Wankhede is always known for good bounce. And Bangalore, again, he can throw a surprise, but you still expect it to be good pace and bounce. So I think that should make it for a good even contest. And before we make it open to public tomorrow, but I have called for a Virat special in the fantasy. So hopefully that is also on the cards.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to see that fantasy show of yours with Vikas. I think that drops tomorrow. So all the fantasy tips for the Wednesday test, go check that out when it drops. So let's, of course, take a quick look at India's squad in this test series, the 3 tests that I was just talking about. And there is no Yash Dayal, which is great. So I think we can retain him as uncapped from an RCB perspective. We'll come on to that with Akshay in just a bit. But look at the familiar names, the usual names. There is that important WC bracketed next to Bumrah's name purely because Rohit might miss that Perth test of the BGT for personal reasons. We'll come on to that as well. But pretty much that squad that we saw against Bangladesh. Who knows if Akashdeep does start all 3 this time as well. Right. Akshay, are you happy that Yash Dayal's been left out of this test series for starters?
Super stoked for that. In fact, Vikas and I, that was the only conversation we had about the squad. Couldn't care lesser about who's there, who's not there. बुमराह को भले रेस्ट कर दो, चाहिए तो कैप्टन किसी और को बना दो. अच्छा लगा ये देख के कि Yazgar has been rested. So, but all in all, yeah, that's that. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, because I was just looking at that squad, Nix, and are we again going to just see the same 11 that started in Kanpur, or do you expect a few changes given it's Bangalore, given there's rain around the corner? So would you kind of chop and change?
I don't think it's as straightforward because I don't know if they are looking at just people to get more game time. Because I would ideally want Kuldeep to get a good game time, Akshar Patel to also play, but I don't know if they are ready to do that change because I expected the squad to not have maybe Jasprit or even rest one of Siraj or Akazib again, depending on what's the kind of surfaces that are going to go. So from the last test that India played, I don't see any changes unless India want to give everybody game time that, okay, before going to Australia, let's give Sarfaraz a good run. He scored a century recently in first class cricket. So let's just get him into the system, keep our backups ready. So I think it should pretty much be the same team that played the last test. And then maybe if Pune and Mumbai have something else to offer, then maybe a change. Otherwise, I think it will just be the same squad.
Yeah, because I was actually kind of thinking about it. Saw Gautam Gambhir's press conference as well. I think you can tell by Akshar's reaction there was a catch gone down with the Pakistan women.
Yeah, catch gone down.
Yeah, not the first one and won't be the last. Sorry.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a tough one to watch because India-Australia was also painful on Sunday in Sharjah. Let's quickly pan into some comments. Always good to make this show as interactive as possible. We'll come back to talk about the New Zealand threats and show you their squad as well. Dhruv Mitra, India's women's loss, very sad for it. I can obviously sympathize with all of you all. On this day, 1 year ago, wrote smashed Pakistan saying Path. Thanks for that heads up. One episode to go for half-century episodes of MNL. I love how you pointed that out. Episode 49, get interactive. And, of course, tell us what you've loved about the show. What's going to be the pitch for Pune? Can we expect a good sporting wicket? We'll address that as well, Karthik, in just a bit. But what is the weather in Bangalore? It has been kind of raining, but I think it should be good in terms of the day and not so much in the evening. So from 9:30 to 5, I don't think the rain's going to be interrupting that much. Pakistan bowling well. So all of you guys have, of course, dual screens right now, one on MNL and one on the Women's World Cup. Shlok Badge, good to see you. How many full match 5 series role played in Sena? I'm not sure.
This is the first one in a very long time. Yeah, Virat Kohli himself hasn't played a 5-match test series in Sena. Like, oh no, he played one. England 2018. वो एक हुआ था 5 test. Yeah. Uske alawa, there's been no 5-match test series, in the last 10-15 years.
Yeah, indeed. Nikhil Baju saying inclement weather here in Bangalore, likely to play Spurs. Put fingers crossed, man, we'll get like a good test match. Eagerly wanting to see Vicky come back in form and scoring a test century again. And that is what Nikhil is called, apparently, in the fantasy show. So watch that tomorrow. We'll talk about Sanju's innings as well, Renu Khandelwal, 100%. Because like I said, so much to get through to in the last 4-5 days and to look forward to in the next 4-5 days. Nikhil Baju also adding, saying anything less than 3-0 should be disappointing, considering their batting weakness against spin, and they probably have 2 effective bowlers, Ajaz and Oruk. Southey has declined massively. I know Southey played that 2012 Bangalore test and he took 7. How he would love for turning back the time on that. And Santosh Shirappa, who is a big follower of the MNL and cricket.com, saying, looking at Cam Green's surgery in shadow of unavailability for IPL, do you think RCB should retain Virat, Patidar, Siraj, Yash, and use RTM and Faf, Will Jackson or Maxwell, no birthday post? Good to, of course, get all your comments. We'll take this one in particular, the 12th man. If you have more random questions about cricket, life, everything in between, to ask Nix, me, and Akshay, tell us. And yes, Dhruv, we're going to be talking about Babar as well. So look, without further ado, let me get straight to it then, because India do take on New Zealand in 3 tests. I don't think New Zealand have won a test since 1988 in India. I think they won just 2 tests, one in 1969 and one in 1988. So it's pretty been a shit show for New Zealand touring India. What is your series prediction, Akshay? Is it 3-0 India to just absolutely do what they do to teams, annihilate teams? And is that the perfect way for them to also fine-tune their skills before the BGT?
Yes and yes to both. To begin with, 3-0, anything less than that would be a disappointment in my eyes. Given, New Zealand's current form and given India's current form. India के लिए तो खैर छोड़ो, मैं current form भी ना बोलूं. India को हराना is not easy, and definitely for this side it'll be a lot more difficult. I'm looking forward to a couple of players in particular. Willow Rook, of course, will be one who I would want to keep a keen eye on, because I did not catch a lot of him during the Sri Lanka series because I wasn't following it. So wo hai. Apart from that, as a series itself, yeah, I'm expecting India to make it very easily. Make a whitewash fairly easily. And in terms of players fine-tuning their skills, I just hope India use this series as some sort of a test. Ki boss, कौन अच्छा कर सकता है, कौन किस रोल में हम लोग लेके जा सकते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया. So it'll give India and hopefully us as well as spectators a better idea of what Indian squad might potentially look like come the BGT. So Sarfaraz Khan, Dhruv Jurel, KL Rahul, सबके क्या roles होंगे, क्या spots होंगे, सब एक बार अच्छे से पता चल जाए. So it'll be great.
That's the thing I want to ask you all. And in fact, it was the MNL question of the night. Who should be India's reserve opener in Test? I mean, we're thinking automatically, Abhi Manu Ishwaran's name pops up. I'm thinking to myself, Pujara from left quarters. Som has said that he wouldn't mind him soaking up the pressure down under. Do you think?
Yeah, boy, Susie gets out.
Gone? Oh, super. So let's celebrate that as well. But yeah, Nix, just coming to you in terms of what India need to do in this series to just sharpen their weapons, something that I used last time as well. What could it be? Because obviously Rohit will play all 3 tests, so we can't experiment with the reserve opener. Is there any other thing that you'd like to see? You've mentioned Kuldeep that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind Rohit not playing a couple of tests, to be very honest. Even for that matter, Jaiswal. And again, the point here is to not take New Zealand lightly, but to really just have your people ready and game ready. So, and I don't think there is a more clear winner than Easwaran in terms of recent form also. A guy cannot scream or break the door open more than what he's been doing. So if after this also he doesn't get to look in, then I don't know when and what and on which planet will he get in. So I wouldn't mind if Pune and Bombay are where Rohit doesn't play and you blood in Eastern, give him some game time. Not to say that you will need him in Australia, but see, 5-match series is tough on everybody. And Rohit, we know, might miss one already. So if you already know it, I don't mind. I don't want that Gill or KL go up open for one game and then change in the other thing. It's just better that you get the reserve opener a good game, a couple of tests for that matter, so that that guy is also ready. So to me, it will be Abhimanyu Iswaran, and I don't think there should be any doubt on that.
Yeah, when I called up my stats man today, Anirudh Suresh, and he told me, bro, this is going to be a futile discussion because I think Ishwaran's numbers point that's going to be him and no one else. I wanted to know what the numbers actually suggested, so I just did some research. Now, Indian domestic openers, this is in red ball cricket since 2023, a minimum of 750 runs this one. So, look, it's a fair enough sample size. And like we mentioned, that man is top of the pops in terms of runs, great average, 700s to show for, which is fantastic. The other names, Jagdishan got 100 recently for Tamil Nadu in the Ranji game. So obviously, you got to kind of back it up with someone who's been consistent and not one-offs, even though they might be in red-hot form. Tanmay Agarwal, Mayank Agarwal are the other names. Prithvi Shaw, we've seen, of course, conjure up some runs in recent times from Mumbai. And then there's Dhruv Shore, Jyotsnil Singh, Shantanu Mishra, Yash Dubey, Harvik Desai, which are all promising talent if you look at it in terms of Indian red ball openers. Akshay, are we missing any names here? I mean, Som jokingly said Chetesh Pujara. Do you have any sort of ability to back that statement up? Given that it's Australia, given that he's a rock, he has the experience, he's done it before, but as an opener, he's not done it for Sussex or Saurashtra, right?
Yeah, and neither for India. I know he did open in Virat Kohli's first full series as a captain, if I'm not wrong, the 2015 Sri Lanka series. But again, I wouldn't take Pujara, personally if I were the selector, simply because time ho gaya, boss. Like, you can't keep looking back. Once you've moved on, It's high time you give someone else a chance. Even if Ishwaran, does not perform well enough, I would happily give him a chance because he deserves it. Abhi tum batao, technically there is a roadmap in place कि तुम रणजी ट्रॉफी अच्छा करो तो उसके बेसिस पे इंडिया ए के लिए सेलेक्ट हो गए, इंडिया ए में अच्छा करो तो उसके बेसिस पे तुम इंडिया के लिए सेलेक्ट होते हो. दिस इज द रोड मैप, एटलीस्ट थियोरेटिकली ऑन पेपर दिस इज द रोड मैप इन प्लेस फॉर टेस्ट क्रिकेट. Abhimanyu Ishwaran has cleared all those obstacles with flying colors. So given that he deserves a chance, I know, making a debut in Australia is not the most ideal of conditions. तो भाई तुम्हारी अक्ल क्या घास चरने गई थी? बांग्लादेश की सीरीज थी, यहाँ पे न्यूजीलैंड की सीरीज है. You could have handed him a debut. You could have seen कि बॉस बंदे में दम है क्या? Can he be given a chance? Can we take a punt on him? Hopefully, the India versus India A practice match that's going to happen will give us a better indication of what India is looking like. I hope Abhimanyu Ishwaran gets a chance there. But I, for one, strongly believe that he should be the one making the debut, irrespective of whether he's cut out for it or not. Let us not make assumptions. Let us give him a chance and let us take a call after that.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys on this. First, Nick's point about not kind of shoehorning anyone else as an opener, Gale, KL, just because you need to fill in that void. I think that's wrong. There are, of course, options, like you mentioned, Ishwar, and I think he's definitely the front runner in that race. So, do you guys agree in the comments? Please let me know. Karthik saying absolutely the domestic players will lose confidence with again relying on those same players. Adyan Singhal saying, hi guys, nice to see you after a bit. Apologies for the absence. Looking forward to a busy test summer and you guys breaking it down. Good luck. Thanks, and we will do that. Expect KL to go back opening if Rohit misses a test many times. Eastern has not been given a chance, and that's exactly what we fear, sports fan. Eastern hands down. Rituraj has post stats, and I think there's another comment coming our way. There's more comments. Last 4 matches, he's got 400s in his first class. That's enough. Said Ishwaran deserves it. Yeah, absolutely agree with you, CD, as well. So it just makes you think how India can again polish what they need to really do before that massive 5 tests against Australia. Because again, they lose that, dare I say, 5-0 or 4-1, then the WTC final also is in jeopardy. One person I realize who's not even in this series, Nick, is Shami, right? So is he a kind of bowler that you throw in regardless of his match fitness, miles in the legs, and all of that? I mean, ideally, he should have been playing the series, but that's not the case. So because it's Shami, do you still just throw him in come the 5 test match against Australia?
Yeah, you wouldn't mind that doing that. Of course, given that you've tested him enough in your center of excellence or wherever you want to do that, I'm sure he'll play a couple of domestic games whenever he can, possibly before that tour. And again, 5 tests are those are the times when not everybody has to play all 5 of them. So even if Shami is happy and fit enough to play 2 or 3 of them, I'm going to happily take him. And again, you took him there for a white ball series without practice. So red ball to by बिना कुछ बोले लेके जाना चाहिए चुपचाप. So again, it's just how strong the seam attack becomes if you have Shami available. So even in his presence might also just be good enough to help somebody like an Akashdeep who might be on his first tour. And Siraj, of course, he's played there, but just having those people around you who've done well in the past at those venues will help. So I think he'll get a couple of games. May not be for India, but hopefully some domestic games. And of course, he'll play the warm-up. So fingers crossed for him as well.
Yeah, because like you mentioned that Akashdeep is kind of taken like a duck to water for Team India in Test. So you don't feel that we miss Shami right now, but it's just, again, a testament to the fact that India have such good depth in all regards. Keep your comments coming through this Monday Night Live. I know it's a brand new start to the week. Hopefully all you guys are doing well. We'll entertain much more comments. There's more stats to show you just on that Abhimanyu Ishwaran chat, which I forgot to showcase, is that what he's been churning out generally in terms of the run getters in first class cricket. So there was a comment which just went past me. I'll take that right now. Pava saying runs isn't everything. You got to pick a player who's promising to perform on a big stage. I remember Mayank Agarwal scoring fantastic 76 in Australia in 2018. I mean, I understand that, but you have to, of course, back it up with some logic. You can't take the England route where they're picking players who average 200 with the ball, but based on profiles and certain traits that they want to see.
Exactly. वो उस हद तक मतलब punt ले रहे हैं. Like, sorry to cut you there. अपना तो at least Abhimanyu Ishwaran, given the number of runs he's piled up in the domestic circuit, उसको एक चांस तो बनता है यार. वहाँ पे अवनीश के डोपल कैंकर को लेके जा रहे कि भाई ये लंबा है तो इससे खिला देंगे. Like that's all it takes to make it debut for England.
I mean, I don't think India will ever kind of pick players like that, right? Given our vast sort of players that we have in the pool, it's nuts. Like they can't even go down that route because they're just like, then what are we supposed to do as domestic players, right?
Now, India is far too risk averse to make a move like that. Just the fact that we're slowly seeing, an aggressive template takeover is such a refreshing change. But, in terms of selections, we will still be fairly, I won't say obvious, but we will be fairly risk averse. We wouldn't want to simply explore simply because India mein cricket is very popular. Unlike England and India, we're more than happy to throw a dagger the moment someone fails. So they also know, they'll also be aware of that. So they wouldn't want to simply make something that's too cheeky for their liking.
Okay, I want to, of course, just talk about the vice captaincy bit, and I'll throw that to Knicks right now. But before that, Vasant Narayan saying with rains predicted in south of India, I think it'll be 2-0 to India. Down under, can India win in down under with Cam Green absence for us? We'll give that Akshay and the 12th man. New Zealand के साथ कुछ setting asking Abbas Kundi. पता नहीं भाई, आप बताना है.
आवाज ने कल जीत को भी पूछा था, आपका कुछ है क्या न्यूजीलैंड के साथ सेटिंग, थोड़ा हेल्प कर दो वर्ल्ड कप में. पूछेंगे भाई, ये भी पूछेंगे पक्का.
100%. And Alan James, good to see you as ever. We'll need to be extremely careful with Shami. He goes on to say the hunger to play in the BGT shouldn't. Will need to be extremely careful with Shami. The hunger to play in the BGT shouldn't overlap with him rushing in. Yeah, I agree with you there. And like I said, because India have fantastic depth, it'll be again on display against New Zealand. Right. Speaking of New Zealand, will they challenge, especially with some of the big guns of Team India needing runs? I'm talking about Virat and, of course, even Rohit, who did dazzle a bit in that series, but he'll love 100 to go into Australia with much more confidence. Who, of course, he struggles there. Please understand that I'm not throwing Rohit under the bus, but it has to be said. That's one thing that he'd like to correct in his test career, no matter how prolific he's been in the last couple of years for India. New Zealand, like I said, not winning a test in India since 1988. That was in Mumbai that they'd done that. And the question remains, can they compete? I'll just quickly look at that squad right now. Tom Latham's taken over captaincy from Tim Southee, and I'm thinking to myself, does he have the weapons and the bowling arsenal to dismantle them? I mean, what's your first take on it, Nix, with regards to New Zealand squad? Suffered a 2-0 loss to Sri Lanka not too long ago. Do they have any hope in a country which they don't do well in tests?
Well, all you can hope is for one in a lifetime now. Something we discussed even when Bangladesh came about, that you will need a couple of your individuals to have the greatest games of their lives. Something that Joe Root did, something Wally Pop did. So you will need that to work your way. Do they have the people to do it? I think so. But it will take something really, really special, given that they haven't had that run of form. Sorry, I think there is a wicket there. Yeah, there is. Well done to New Zealand for getting that out. But so you have Tom Latham who's making the trip. Williamson may not play the first test, but the first test will be important for them to just set the tone. See, Ayaz Patel came in and took 10. They still did not win. Imagine a bowler took 10, all wickets possible. Still, they could not win. So, of course, you had Mayank and others to come good. So, the depth is what helps India at home. And that is why New Zealand have to catch India, that because Bangladesh had India in trouble, 144 for 6, and then Ashwin saved the blushes. So, that's what New Zealand will look to plan. And if it's overcast, I think that gives Kiwis the best chance, because you leave grass, that's their best bet. They want Henry, they want Southee, they want everybody to come into the game. Villarok, who had a great start in Sri Lanka, on those decks he picked a 5-4. So, and again, India's love for debutants. So, ek 5-4 to Villarok ko aise de denge. So, if that is taken care of, I still feel they should be able to nugget the rest, because Santner has had horrible numbers in the recent times. Rachin doesn't bowl much. So, if India do their basic well, they should still see it through. But I think the conditions will give New Zealand some chance. Again, win the toss, India batting, some movement, 3 down early, maybe something for them to capitalize on.
Yeah, because even the last time they toured India, it was 2021. I think Shreyas Iyer scored 100 in that Kanpur test. You remember that series actually more for that 10 for that Ajaz Patel took. So that goes in mind. Quick look at their names again, and you can second guess their 11, Akshay, in terms of what they could dish out, especially in Bangalore. I know Bangalore's on a ranked turner, so you could probably see 3 pacers and 2 spinners over there. One man who definitely is, of course, making everyone believe that he's really, really good in tests, but the numbers suggest absolutely differently, is, of course, Mitch Santner. And I just want to share this particular article right now, because his numbers are absolutely woeful when you talk about him as worst bowling average in tests since his debut. Only Roshan Chase and Joe Root are faring worse in terms of spinners. Generally, the red ball struggles since his debut. His strike rate is way off, 91.7, and not something that you expect. He went wicketless in Sri Lanka as well, which is something to take note of. But again, fantastic article. This just to highlight the poor numbers that Santner has provided. Sometimes it's easy to think that, okay, he will do well in a country like India. He's just come back from Sri Lanka and it wasn't nothing to see. So more on this article on cricket.com. It's how bad are Santner's numbers in test, way worse than you think. Go check that out, amongst other things indeed. Right, time to, of course, quickly just talk about Jasprit Bumrah's vice captain, Akshay. I mean, essentially, India not named vice captain in the Bangladesh series. Are they doing this only because they know the inevitable Rohit absence in that Perth test? And second question, with Bumrah now being the vice captain, do you think that's an indication of in the next 4 or 5 years, once Rohit kind of departs, it is Bumrah where the pathway is made clear for?
As much as I would like for that to be true. I hope I don't see Bumrah being made captain, not because I don't want him. I want him to be India's test captain. He truly deserves to be it. But I feel that if Bumrah becomes captain, it means he'll invariably have to play every test that happens, even in India. And workload management का अगर इनको ध्यान में रखना है, then I don't think we need Bumrah to play our home tests. Which means we don't necessarily need Bumrah as our test captain. I know it's slightly twisted, but if possible, agar ye chance hai, I would want Bumrah to be my overseas test captain. हाँ, exactly. Home and away test captains रखो, क्योंकि home में बुमराह की जरूरत नहीं है. That does not mean कि बुमराह अच्छा नहीं करेगा. बुमराह अच्छा करेगा, लेकिन वो चाहिए नहीं. मतलब जो हमें चाहिए वो सिराज, आकाशदीप, शमी, इन सब से भी काम चल जाएगा. I'd much rather, take care of Bumrah and ensure that his workload is being managed, and him not being forced into playing cricket just because he's the captain. So that's my only reason. But I'm happy with this move though. He deserves to be India's vice captain. He deserves to also captain India. I know he's done that in T20s. Test में भी कर ले तो बहुत मजा आ जाएगा. But long-term captain, I hope not.
Who are the other candidates next?
Sorry, just to take this moment in life that we are living in a time where we are saying one of the best bowlers of our generation doesn't need to play a home test. I don't think many countries have this liberty. So just want to take this moment to thank One Bumrah for it. So Somesh, there is my token One Bumrah appreciation done. In terms of other options, you have your favorite in terms of KL as a potential guy who can be that ploy. I don't want to go down the Rishabh Pant route just yet, nor do I go down the route with Shubman Gill. So, and again, because you see Jadeja, Ashwin, they are all going to be phased out with time. So the future, again, KL still has, it's like a stopgap arrangement for you. And remember, Bumrah led in WTC, and KL has had his time in South Africa. So I think maybe those are the potential pathways for you to look at. And I agree with Akshay as well. It's weird to not have a home and away test skipper. So I would rather just not give that burden to Bumrah and just keep him fresh.
Just one more name. I don't know how long will Ashwin be there, but maybe for the next couple of years or so, till they are confident that, whoever it is, Rishabh Pant or Shubman Gill, KLV, jo bhi hai, maybe he can be that stopgap solution. So Ashwin could also be I wouldn't mind seeing Ashwin captain or lead India, in the next home season. So that's also another name they can possibly consider.
Yeah, we saw it with one of our greatest ever spinners in Anil Kumble in the twilight of his career, how he picked up the captaincy role. So maybe Ashwin could take a page of his book, or Ashwin could go the Warren route and become India's greatest ever captain to never captain.
Leader to not captain, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it could go down those two routes, but I like the Ashwin shout. It just makes me think about candidates like Gill and Pant. Are the selectors or the team management not sure right now in terms of giving it to a batting captain more than Bumrah being just a lock-in over there? Because you mentioned those three candidates, and I think it's fair to say KL, Gill, or Pant will eventually get it if it's not Bumrah. And of course, the whole home conundrum, because you want to rest Bumrah and workload management and all of that stuff. So is Gill even in the reckoning, guys, here? Or am I completely thinking way off?
I would say so. No, I would say so. He's definitely he was being groomed as Kohli's successor, the person who would take the baton from Kohli, in this generation. So he's surely being looked at India's next all-format captain. But I'm guessing they want to give him a bit more time because because of his recent loss of form as well in Test cricket. So they just want him to find his feet and be comfortable in his position and make sure that he's owned the number 3 spot. Because there's still talks about isko number 5 mein bhejoge, so that's his best spot and stuff like that. So let him be confident of his batting position, of his batting firstly, and then you can of course hand over the captaincy, because you wouldn't want to hand that responsibility over to someone who's not sure of his playing role itself. So that's probably the only reason why they want to give him more time. Baki though, I do agree with you. I see Shubman Gill in the near future, or if not near, at least in the distant future, being India's all-format captain.
Okay, super. Chandan Ramaya saying almost every day there's a rain prediction for the first match, but since it's a beloved Bengaluru, we'll keep guessing. Indeed, Karthik Akash with Chris Goodlens and a bit of spatting at number 8 at Perth, Gabba or Siraj. We'll answer that. All of these kind of questions. Quick singles in the 12th man for sure. And Alan James saying getting Kyle Jameson 21 vibes from William O'Rourke. Let's see if there's going to be wickets for him on this first India tour. Akshay Bhai, keep calm. Pakistan should restrict them till 100 runs, which seems difficult. Bas is hinting about the New Zealand-Pakistan World Cup game happening right now. And Ruben Loganathan, good to see you. Test cricket will only get more exciting in the future as more teams will play their own version of baseball. We have to thank England for introducing baseball and not bother about the final result. I mean, that's one philosophy. There's different ways to skin a cat, Ruben. So even Gambhir mentioned in his press conference prior to this series saying that they want to be a team which can get 400 on a day, and they want to be a team who can bat 2 days out to save a test, which I think I like and I agree with as well, because you have to play situationally. Split captaincy is a whole new level now, indeed. Let us know as well what you guys think in terms of Bumrah. Is the obvious leader, or do you think there's a Pant there, there's a KL there, there's a Gill there? They're all, of course, in it to win it, I'm guessing. How long do you see Rohit playing tests? Asking Chandan. I mean, it's a good one. I'm guessing probably 2027, 2028, because he has that ODI World Cup that he wants to play in South Africa. And I'm guessing he will still somehow go that long in his test career, guys. Do you agree? 2027, Rohit will probably play a test till that long? Or test till...
Test, I'm not sure. ODI तो भाई साहब खुद ही बोल के गए, उनके कोच भी बोल के गए कि 2027 वर्ल्ड कप खेल के जाएंगे. टेस्ट का यार मतलब it's a very taxing format यार, मजाक तो है नहीं. Let's see.
Yeah, because he didn't want to personally retire from T20 internationals as well, but it's almost like Virat did, and then Rohit jumped on saying, yeah, even I think I'm done with it. Tanveer saying Bumrah can lead India in the absence of Rohit. Parth saying Ashwin and Rohit will retire together. Interesting call. And Pava, I think, who's new to the MNL chat, saying, guys, to be honest, imagine if 2 or 2.5 days has been washed off in one at test match. Will India be brave enough to force a result against New Zealand by batting? We saw it in the Kanpur test, right? So the proof's in the pudding. So again, you can only beat what in front of you. Probably Bumrah vice captain is announced in more in terms of the BGT. I agree with you there, Chandan. Priyanshu Dhawan saying Bumrah is my next test captain for sure, with him getting sufficient rest between where Pant can captain. Indeed. And Greg entering the chat saying all credit goes to Lord Duckett. And Naniko 4, good to see you as well. X Factor, keep your comments coming through. Nishant Tomar also saying if India win the WTC next year, Rohit will retire. I mean, I hope it is on that mandate that he retires on an absolute high. Right, so we're done talking about the India-New Zealand Test Series. The first 20 minutes or half an hour of it. So, of course, if you just joined the Monday Night Live, quickly like this video. And, of course, go check that out. We're going to stick with Test Match Chat. But that is, of course, in the best of the rest. And I'm talking about Pakistan, England. And Babar being dropped. Right, I actually reached out to a few Pakistan journos, but they didn't want to come on to the Monday Night Live because they knew they would just be having their pants pulled down. Essentially, Akshay, what's going on? Because you're taking a look at this new committee, which has Azhar Ali, decent guy. Didn't really kind of like the way he batted in test, but similarly, he was nonetheless a pretty good Pakistan captain, I would say. Then you had Aleem Dar, who's part of that as well, and then the captain and coach. But they've taken a massive call to bin Babar, Shaheen, and Naseem, Pakistan's holy trinity. What the hell's happened? Talk to me, Akshay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's quite a big change. I mean, we always talk about अरे इसको निकालो उसको निकालो ये सब हम बोल देते ऐसे गुस्से में कभी सोचा नहीं था कि असली में जाके कोई बोर्ड एक कर देगा. To axe three of your key players, I know they're calling it, they're saying they're labeling it as rest. Azhar Mahmood went down to correct a journalist who asked them in the pre-match presser about Babar ki we've not dropped him, he's been rested. Call it what you may, it's still a huge call. With Babar Azam, at least
Why
I
would
can
you be
see
rested in the midst of the series? Sorry, why would you be rested in the midst of the series? You're 1-0 down.
इतना लॉजिक एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो तो आपकी गलती, इट्स ऑन यू. वो है ना, you know the saying, right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Now it's on you that you're trying to expect logic.
But you also know the saying that Bobsy kar lega, masla sort. There is no fucking masla to be sorted by Bobsy.
ट्विटर पे बोल रहा है ना कि कमबैक इज बेटर देन व्हाटएवर सेट बैक, जो भी बकवास गूगल करने पे जो शायरी मिलती है वो सब डाल तो चुके हैं. बट विद बाबर आजम एटलीस्ट his recent performances haven't been the greatest, so you can at least see why they've gone ahead with that, simply because he's not been performing. अभी तुम मुल्तान जैसा हाईवे पे भी अगर तुम 2 बार हकते हो तो यार मतलब कहीं पे तो they'll have to draw the line. Was it right to do it in the middle of the series? Was it a bit too sudden? Sure, I do agree with you there. But ठीक है यार, ये तो पीसीबी का तो रोज का है. पिछले 5 साल में 7 कोच और 8 नए कप्तान के साथ जा चुके हैं, तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Like that way, I'm not too concerned about Babar Azam. It's Shaheen and Naseem that I was genuinely surprised with. I don't know what the idea was. Is it because they are expecting the surface to be similar? It's going to be a highway. I know it's going to be played on the very same strip as the first test. So maybe they just don't want to overwork these two pacers. In which case, I can see some merit in it. But even then, यार series के बीच में सब कौन करता है? थोड़ा तो मतलब foresight होना चाहिए ना कि क्या plans है, क्या नहीं है. So it's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitch there. Apparently, they've already named 3 spinners in their starting 11 for the second test, Pakistan. So I'm guessing they've had a word with the groundsman. I was watching Sky Sports Cricket earlier in the day, and they were showing the preview for the Multan test, and it looked like an absolute concrete wicket with just mud thrown all over it. So, Nix, is this a sort of statement made by this new committee saying, no matter who you are, we will drop you if you're bad? And Babar wasn't that bad, but I'm guessing, is he the best of the bad bunch?
See, it doesn't matter whether you are best or the bad bunch, but there is a way and a procedure to do what you want to do, and a way to make a statement also. What you're telling the world is you may be the best batter of this lineup for maybe a decade or so. You were the next, the superstar in the world. But if you can be dropped, what confidence does this give to, say, a Sam Ayub or, Abdullah Shafi, whoever is now or looking forward to being part of the setup for a long term, that, dude, if they could do this to Babar, they can do this to us. They can do this to anyone. And I don't know how that is a secure way of giving stability. But I don't think stability is something that is even anywhere close to what Pakistan cricket is at any point of time, whether it is selection, coaching, captain. I mean, the biggest irony is Rami Saraza criticizing PCB for making decks like these when, dude, you were the guy in that chair making those calls yourself as well. So, I mean, it's one thing to have loss of identity, but this, I think, just takes it to another level completely, where I don't know what to think about the people who are part of the setup. How do they react under pressure now? That your biggest batter, I mean, the guy who you've built up everything to, this guy got captaincy, sacked, got it again. And now you've dropped him mid-series. It just tells you there is absolutely zero clue that this may be a statement, but I don't know of what. Whether it is of panic, whether it is of long-term vision, there is no vision here. It's just, let's just get out of this rut. And then there are also rumors that Masood might lose captaincy after the series. We don't know. I mean, if you can sack Babar, of course you can do anything under the sun.
It's ridiculous. Akshay just mentioned how many coaches and captains they've changed. I mean, they've changed 26 selectors since 2021. Just imagine the instability there in terms of Pakistan cricket. Just looking at their 11, Akshay, which they've named. So, of course, the new boy who will replace Babar is Kamran Ghulam. So he'll bat, I think, at 4. So you have Saim Ayub opening with Abdullah Shafiq. Masood will come in at 1 down. Then Kamran Ghulam. Then Saud Shakil, Mohammad Rizwan, Salman Ali Agha, Amir Jamal, Norman Ali.
मतलब यार कुछ तो पकड़ लो, कुछ यार.
drop.
घर से
We're
उठा
talking,
के लाए रे.
we're talking about the Pakistan men team and then the women's.
I have no clue. Like this serves well for both. Serves well for both.
I just
सीधा
think-
सीधा हाथ में आया catch.
I'm not saying this is for sponsors, but maybe Ola Uber can sponsor Pakistan cricket. They have so many drops.
That's a good one. That is a good one. There's plenty of good comments coming through as well. One from Babar Azam himself. Selectors are just settling their personal scores, saying, Babar, Bobsy, mate, I feel for you, mate. 30 of 71 is not droppable, but it was coming. They went for your neck, Bobsy. Kalega Masla sort. That's not happening. Dropping the 3 stars might be the best decision, as all of them are not exactly in their best form and destroying the opponents. But this decision should have been taken before the series started. Absolutely. Greg going on to say Shaheen has a rift with captain teammates. He will probably enjoy not bowling on these highways. And Abbas going on to say next up they will drop Pakistan cricket and then Sindh cricket team and Balochistan cricket team and so on. Sports fans saying love how drastic changes they do from 3 pacers to spinners in the next test. And next Pakistan head curator will be chief selectors. You guys are quick to rant and to jump on in terms of slandering Pakistan, parts saying Pakistan don't drop catches, they rest the ball on the ground. And I think Abbas making that inner Babar joke saying this too shall pass. Right. Jugal going on to say rumors of Babar leading a lot of dressing room politics. That might be the reason. In fact, Kevin Peterson, who played a little bit in the PSL, went on to tweet earlier this week about how Pakistan cricket is done, the professionalism, so on and so forth there. So it's coming from all quarters. And right now, Pakistan need to buy a win. They can't. And they are, of course, taking on England, who I just want to speak about right now, because what happened in the last week is, of course, England doing an unthinkable, getting 800. Akshay, did you see that? I mean, I just want to quickly ask you boys about that because we, of course, had so many numbers to look at in cricket.com. But what caught your eye? Was it Brooks triple ton? Was it just the sheer brilliance of Root again being a run machine, or the audacity to score 823 in the first innings? No matter it's a highway and National 47 and all of that bullshit.
A bit of everything, to be honest. I genuinely thought, gone are the days when we see 700, 800 being scored. And in my head, I remember having this conversation with someone earlier this year, जहाँ पे मैं बोला था, I think we've seen the last of triple hundreds. अभी मतलब बहुत मुश्किल होगा because, Test cricket has become very result oriented to ensure that there's a lot more in the game for teams, for spectators. So, which is a very correct way of, which is the right direction for Test cricket. So, which is why I was like, हाँ अभी नहीं मिलेगा. I know पाकिस्तान में flat surfaces है, but फिर भी. And एक होता है 800 रन मारना, दूसरी चीज 800 रन ये लोग मारे 150 ओवर में. मतलब भाई कुछ तो रियाज करो यार. टेस्ट क्रिकेट है कि मजाक बना के रख दिया. I don't know if you guys caught a glimpse of the chart that Jared Kimber had shared, where the dot, that England's dot is such a massive outlier. Oh my goodness, what even is that, and how do you even comprehend that? Like just the magnitude of how crazy that innings is. So all in all, the whole innings, that approach, and the fact that they were able to execute it, it's one thing. Again, people talk about baseball. In India ने भी try किया, 30 ओवर में 280 बनाए, लेकिन 8 विकेट भी गवाए, because it is a very high risk, high reward approach. To be able to execute it to an extent where you score 800 runs at the loss of just 5-6 wickets, this is maddening.
Yeah, and that man again, Harry Brook. I mean, essentially, I think. Not sure where I saw this, but Brian Lara is worried for his 400, Nick. Should he be worried about certain batters nowadays in this modern era just going mad? Brook comes to mind, Jaiswal comes to mind as well. So do you think, forget 800s being breached, there could be 350s, 400s more often in Test cricket now?
Yeah, but I think he should be more worried about decks in Pakistan than any other batter, because I don't think this is possible anywhere else. Dude, you might as well just collect toll from that pitch, because that is as good as the use of it in terms of a road. And see, this is what you dream of. Okay, ideal best case scenario, what I want to do, I want to score 500 runs in a day. I will bat just 80 overs and this is the rate I'll get. And then to go on and actually just do it just like that and look effortless. I think there was a point of time during that entire day that the boundaries died up, but they were still going at 3 and 4 runs per over just without even doing anything. So they did not even have to do any random Jai Madadi stuff. I'll whack you down the ground. No, it's just dead batting in terms of dead bowling. Sorry, on a very dead deck. So hats off to Brook and Root both. Root, I was genuinely worried that we could actually see 2 triple tons in one innings, and I don't think I would ever. I mean, I can't even comprehend think of being in such a situation, because you have to realize these things happen once in a lifetime, and to actually have 2 people approaching triple tons was, it tells you that dot is dot for a reason. So, uh, and I think this, it reflects in the way Pakistan have reacted. I think they were absolutely knackered in their minds. You saw that in the way they got out as well. You look at Shan Masood's dismissal, you look at Shafiq's dismissal, it tells you they're just gone there. I mean, and of course you would be gone. Like, he scored 550. You're thinking, dude, okay, we've got time. And then you go on, and they could have lost this in 4 days. Imagine scoring 550, conceding 800, and still being in position that you could lose in 4 days. There are some things only Pakistan cricket can do. You can't emulate that.
Yeah, I mean, because even if you look at that as a neutral fan, the scorecard and 556 that Pakistan put on in the first innings, they did that in 149 overs, but England basically batted one more over and scored fucking 270 runs more, which is madness, 260 runs or whatever it is. So quite ridiculous. By the way, a little update with England. Ben Stokes returns after missing those 4 tests that he did, suffered a hamstring pull, I think, and then now he's back in. So he comes in for Wokes. And I think Matt Potts plays his 9th test for England, comes in for Gus Atkinson, I think it is. So Bryden Castle will keep his place. The spinners will keep their place. Nix is pretty much kind of reacting at the New Zealand-Pakistan game, which is going on as well. But it'll be interesting to see what Pakistan, this new look Pakistan, dare I say, would do against England. I will just quickly take some more comments regarding this particular situation right now. What is the score, boys? Stop teasing me with all the suspense.
91 for 3, 17.2 overs. They should have been at least 91 for 7. मतलब इतने ड्रॉप किए हैं भाई, सबको मौका मिल रहा है. They're bowling very well. They're bowling genuinely well. और ये करते हैं.
They're creating chances. They're creating chances like this. There are run-out chances being missed. But dude, they're catching.
Come on, Nidadar and company, please pull off something spectacular so Harry D and the women can go through. But just to finish off this Pakistan chat, Babar Azam in the comments, like I said, going on to say, my average is just on 3 and 1.5 stumps is around 25. People have started bowling 40% of the deliveries to 65% of the deliveries in that region. Babar's very good on the 5 to 6 stump contrast. Other batters. I mean, whether it's a 5th, 6th stump, full toss, half volley, you're supposed to score runs. That's the objective of the game, indeed. Nitin Muthuraman, new name in the chat, going on to say this Monday Night Live. It would be funny if an English pacer picks up a 5 for tomorrow after Park picking 3 spinners, indeed. The way Root is inflating his stats, wish VK could have got similar chances in those highways, saying sports fan. And X Factor saying, I think this NH 300 is not going to break for another 1,000 years. So yeah, Virat can blame just the BCCI for not having a test series, and Root can break 20,000 test mark if he gets another Park series. And Abbas going on to admit that he didn't watch a single ball. Such boring stuff, indeed. Pakistan bowlers paid the toll, Nikhil, bro, which is another highway joke from Chandan Ramay over there. And Tushar Singh, welcome to the chat. Earlier, it used to be fun watching Pakistan cricket making the fool of themselves. Now I feel pity. I agree with you. Now it's just gone so low. They've stooped to probably the lowest of lows, but let's see how they come through. Bryden Cast is coming up with the reverse swing. Yorkers at 90 miles. Beware, Kamran Ghulam. Okay. Look, England-Pakistan chat will continue, but let's just, of course, quickly talk about another test match news, which is coming from Cricket Australia, and how much truth goes into this, only time will tell. I don't think it's mind games. I actually think Smith will be batting at his beloved 2 down. There are gone. Great, super. So a riposte for Pakistan women over there. Go check out that game if you guys are enjoying that, and you can always watch Monday Night Live later. But Cricket Australia making 2 big announcements. One, this Smith, of course, not opening for the BGT. I just want to ask the boys on that. And Cameron Green going to be missing the whole series, opting to have a back surgery. And Cummins using the Pakistan ODIs as preparation for the BGT. So all those 3 things are the newsies to the news from the down under territory. Akshay, I just want to quickly ask you about Smith not opening. Boon or bane for Australia?
Definitely a boon. I mean, number 4 pe acha kya. I know what the reason was, and the fact that Smith himself has apparently spoken to Bailey about it, saying ki boss, I would be I'm not comfortable batting at the top. मेरे को number 4 पे खेलना है जहाँ पे मैंने अच्छा किया है. So fair enough. Him coming back to his natural position is something that should work in Australia's favor. As a Team India fan, definitely not a boon, of course. But yeah, you would imagine that over a 5-match test series against this Indian bowling attack, Smith would add a lot more value at number 4 as opposed to opening.
Yeah, because I'm thinking who will open then for Australia? Thinking Marcus Harris, Cameron Bancroft, maybe the new 19-year-old guy averaging 50, I think it is, Sam Constas in his 5 first-class games. Nick, how do India look at it? Because I think they got the better of Smith in the last BGT, and he's always been a thorn in the flesh of India. Do you think he'll be better coming 2 down from an Australian perspective? Or do you think the fact that now he's not opening, India will be like, we would have loved to nick him off early?
Yeah, I'm very happy that Smith is back and the senses are back. I can't believe, which is why I pinged even Anirudh in the group that how was everybody so happy that Smith was like, okay, let me challenge myself by opening. Dude, it's not fun. I mean, there are people, it's a specialist role for a reason. And see, I said this in that terminal as well, that a Steve Smith scoring runs and then moving up the order is a different proposition. Here, Smith was struggling to get runs, and then if you put him up the order, it's not going to be easy for him. And India would have not minded him opening at all. I mean, new ball, Siraj, Bumrah, it brings more people into the game. So I think from Australia's point of it is very good that Smith is back to his best spot because it gives him time. Now, who do they open with? That is a problem for them to have. I actually felt that if Green was fit, maybe he would have opened if he was playing just as pure batter. Now, that is out of the way. Let's see who they go to, whether it is Harris or Bancroft. And I don't think it will be Travis Head as well. So it's good for Australia, but it is good for India also. Let's get them the way we've got them in the past. And this is not being cocky. It's best to get people when they are at their best, simply put.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually agree with the fact that they won't just throw Travis Head at the top because he will be coming 3 down and again, doing what he did against India. That WTC innings comes to mind. If you guys are enjoying this Monday Night Live, and even more so with Pakistan getting some wickets right now towards the back end of this New Zealand innings, please give this a quick like. And again, the World Cup dream is still by hook or crook alive for Team India. And they're definitely watching this one in their hotel rooms right now. Bharti Wali Awam Hassan going on to say, I don't know what
भारतीय वाली आवाम को बस बाबर करना आता है, असल भिखारी तो तुम लोग हो.
Please respond to this guy in a kind way before I flip my
He
shit.
just has to see the mirror. That's all.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Shaurya Pathak saying other things though. They might get Head to open again. Peter Hanscom, he averages like 15 first class, but couldn't convert his talent now in international cricket. Hanscom's played previous BGTs as well, Shaurya, so it'll be good to know if they go back to him. Cam Green, the news with him. Then Akshay, does that worry you as an RCB fan prior to this October 31st deadline? Because I know we're going to talk about IPL in a bit and Jayawardene and all of that, but now because we're just talking about Cricket Australia, A, is he a big miss for the BGT, like how people are making it? And B, the whole RCB perspective.
Big का तो पता नहीं, मैं तो massive ही बोलूंगा. Massive miss for Australia. So as a Team India fan, not complaining, the kind of balance he would have offered Australia is like second to none. Like proper bowler who hits the deck hard, importantly, on those bouncy surfaces of Perth and all. Bhaisa would have been a handful. Then a gun fielder at Gully. How many? Like I've not forgotten any of those blinders he's taken there. And of course his batting. So he's definitely going to be a huge miss for Australia there.
Do you agree with Amit? Saying लौड़े लग गए?
नहीं, उसने तो ऐसी बोला है भाई, आप ही खींच के बोले, but नहीं, I understand कि लगेगा ऐसा कि लगे, but thankfully it's happened a good month before the auctions scheduled to occur. So because of which I feel this is good enough time for RCB to rethink their strategies and all of that. So of course it's a huge miss for RCB, but this was expected. Yeah, like even I knew for a fact that expecting 3 full seasons from Cam Green would be a bit too much. So hopefully we retain him and hold on to him. Ki boss, jab bhi aayega, he can be a great value add for us. Now I guess instead of retaining him, maybe RCB can explore the option of just letting go of him and then buying him back at the auction by way of RTM or just buying him back. So that's how I would look at it. But apart from that, he can.
Yeah,
Do you
Nani
foresee? Sorry, do you foresee Green becoming the archer for RCB?
Exactly, मेरे को वही लग रहा है, something similar, and I'm fine with it. I'm more than happy to waste an overseas slot on someone like Cam Green, especially after the kind of season he's had for RCB, which is following the kind of season he had for Mumbai. So he's had 2 good seasons at the IPL. He's no more a one-season wonder. People know of his potential. People recognize it. He can be a value add to RCB. तो मैं तो खुश हूँ भाई. वैसे भी तुम ऐसा लॉकी फर्गसन, टॉम करन, अल्जारी जोसेफ पे एक तो स्पॉट जाएगा ना, उससे अच्छा एक स्पॉट तुम कैमरन ग्रीन के लिए छोड़ दो. बाकी देख लो, 7 overseas spots are good enough, so it's fine.
Yeah, and also the point on that is because whenever Cam comes, he'll not come cheap. So I think that is also a point to keep in mind, that whenever he comes in the auction, he'll always go for more than 10 plus because he brings so much to the table. So in that sense, also it's a fair call to keep him.
But again, I'm not sure how many teams will be able to do that Jofra Archer wala, like I don't see a lot of teams who would take that.
They can still spike the cost, right? They can still spike the cost for others too. If they want to go for it, that will always happen.
Yeah. Tanveer asking you, Akshay RCB fan hai kya?
AC.
भाई ऐसा मतलब हाँ, अगर I'm
put it mildly.
No chat. Green coming back, saying Jugal Punjab and Ponting waiting for him, couldn't get him in DC. There's something.
अरे भाई जुगल पंजाब अगर सैम करन को भी रखेगा तो कैम ग्रीन कहाँ से लाएंगे, तो फिर पैसा किसके पास बचेगा?
No, indeed.
कर ले रे बाबा भाई
RCB Akshay fan है,
सारे भगवानों के नाम ले लिए यार.
Indeed.
सब बोल चुका हूँ मैं ये.
What's the score now? What's the score now there in Dubai?
105 for 5.
105 for 5. If you guys are watching later this week, we apologize because plenty of reactions, of course.
Nice. That's the way we want it to be.
Hello, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, the producer is like, these two guys are doing a watch along. I hate a watch along. Go back to this.
Good job, man, because that's the best part of having a producer. Every time you think that they're not fitting it, just cut them off. Who's also saying Abni just having hot water today? Yeah, hot water in a Heineken can. I love it. I just love it that way. Right. Let's of course give you a little bit of breaking news. I know you guys would have seen it on your phones or whatever, but people telling us in the chat the BCCI is cutting the player rule in SMAT. Thanks for that. I need to actually have a look at this. I need to actually have a look at this.
Shove it up where the sun doesn't shine. Like, what on earth are you bloody hell doing? Fatima, yaar, captain ho, matlab gun fielder बोल के भाई साहब.
Okay, one second. I'm having a look at this. Oh my god, that's
just
terrible.
Dollies after dollies. How many bloody hell will you drop? Oh,
they've dropped more than they've dropped more catches than the number of wickets taken so far.
But one second, to tell me this, who are we backing in terms of getting the chase done? For
my lord, sorry, no.
Pakistan.
What happened now?
Backing Pakistan.
We have no. Could there be another drop catch?
It is.
Look at the same area. I know that.
Oh my god! Oh yeah!
Kuch to pakad lo. Pakistan fans themselves are having a laugh.
Oh my god!
Laughs in the ground. Like,
look, we terribly apologize because I know this is almost like becoming a watcher for the Women's World Cup, but look, we can't help it because I've also kind of now turned my attention to the TV set here.
Absolute. It's like, I don't know what to make of this. Like, had this been men's cricket, by now conspiracy theories would have been wreaking havoc. Ki boss, ye janbooch ke kar rahe. Because this is women's cricket, people won't say that. Ye kya, like, why? How can you drop so many?
Catch that? She's taking it.
Finally she catches one. Finally she holds on to one. 4th catch in the over after 3 drop catches. 4 times the charm.
Okay, and also now we know that how much they need to chase for India to get a place in the knockouts. 111 is what Pakistan need to go check that out. And remember, Akshay will be doing a show after that game in terms of reviewing it. Go check that out. And of course, give some love to women's cricket in general. The one time I not liking my job where I have to watch this shit show saying because as a producer. being relatively polite to the women's cricket fans over there. I love this. They got one. Haha, peak cinema, man. Men's or women. Alan James also having a right laugh in terms of what's happening out there in Dubai. Right, plenty to get through to still on this episode 49 of Monday Night Live. Get interactive in the comments and, of course, like this video for starters. We've spoken about a whole host of things already. Just to finish up on that Down Under news, Cummins has been added in that ODI squad versus Pakistan, which starts November 4th onwards, and the BGT is 22nd. So there's definitely no test players playing in that T20 series against Pakistan from the 14th to the 18th. But maybe Cummins and the likes of him could just get some match practice and miles on the legs before India. Right, I want to turn our attention to Mumbai Indians next, guys, because I know we have a few guys who are fans of the franchise in the chat. Abbas Kunde comes to mind. There are many more out there. Forgive me if I'm forgetting your names, but why have they gone back to Jayawardene, Akshay? Boucher, I mean, I know 10th last year, so it was almost like the sack was coming, but Jayawardene, really?
I mean, 10th last year, 9th in 2022, somehow barely scraped through to the playoffs in 2023 as well. So fair enough. He was bound to face the axe. Some might even say that he's been made the scapegoat of the entire mess. I don't think he's being scapegoated here. He deservedly has been, taken off the post there. Why have they gone back to Mahila Jayawardene? I just think it's a case of, wo kya bolte? It's better to have a known enemy than an unknown friend. So might as well. Ye hai apne paas. He's been with us. He understands Rohit Sharma. And importantly, given that now ahead of the mega auction, there are a lot of egos to be massaged. Jayawardene has worked with all of them. So he would probably, best place to be able to, negotiate all these contracts and get all these players in, and importantly, hold on to all of them ahead of the mega auction. So makes sense, of course. What happens to the global head role that Santosh Odpa has asked? So if I'm not wrong, Mark Boucher is going to be doing that. So it's a swap essentially. But to what extent and all, both the Patani, that global role sounds so made up. And this is coming from a guy who's done his MBA. I've seen my fair share of made up roles, and this is just one of those. But it will be interesting, Abhi Jayawardene kya karta, because when he left Mumbai Indians, although they were pretty much the same bunch of players, the environment was a lot different. It was a lot more chill. And now with Hardik Pandya going out, coming back, and then of course there's Kai Bumrah vying for captaincy. There's Ishant Kishan who's now risen up the ranks. There's Tilak Verma who's come in. So there's so many sort of different subplots and variables that he'll have to take care of. So it's definitely not going to be easy for him coming in.
Yeah, where does this leave the retentions next for Mumbai? Because I'm thinking to myself, Jayawardene will definitely have a say. The deadline is not too far away. And Akshay just mentioned it. He had a great relationship with Rohit Sharma when he was coach and Rohit was captain for MI. Do you think there could be a chat from Jayawardene to say, hey, bro, I think we still need you here?
Yeah. This is just a one family thing. And this is what it is for, to get it back to one family. And I will not be surprised if he finds a way to keep everybody. It is something I said even in the MNL for the IPL, that I think they'll keep them all. And the moves, I know Anirudh is already sold on Sky Bumrah going to Punjab and leading them. But I think this season at least, you will see everybody together. And maybe the next one is where you will see people leave. Because, see, this is not a core that you get across just by mistake or by luck. This is a great bunch of people. Yes, they may not have worked out, but still a very good group of core which you can try and build on. So I think that is what Mahila will be tasked with, and his first task will be to convince everybody to be on the same boat. And then I'm sure next year when the trade window opens, we'll see some movement depending on how this season goes. So I think this is purely just for that, to keep everybody together.
Okay, let's see how Mumbai can throw the ball forward. Amit Kurai is saying they should retain 5. Akshay, just cast your mind back to that IPL episode we did on Monday Night Live. Who did we say that we wanted to see them retain? 5?
We wanted to, we'd spoken about what we think they might eventually retain. So we had Pandya and Bumrah at the 18 crore slabs. We had Sky and Ishant Kishan at the 14 crore slabs. And we had Tilak Verma at the 11 crore slab, with Nehal Vadera being the uncapped option. So basically, we'd let go of Rohit Sharma. Or we think MI will let go of Rohit Sharma. So, and I don't know, now things change. Because of Mahila Jayawardene coming in, we know, like you also mentioned, there's been, he's shared a great equation with them. So If Rohit Sharma agrees to stay back, then who misses out and who will agree to be demoted and work with the 14 crore slab or an 11 crore slab? वो पता नहीं वो देखना पड़ेगा यार.
Yeah, because many people point to those 4 or 5 great players that they have, but it's actually more to that because you think about some of the names like Nihal, Kamboj, they'll be playing in Emerging Asia Cup, St. Jugal, so they're going to be uncapped.
Always Gurgaon get Chris, our beloved Anuj Rawat. Like, no clue how did that happen.
Nuts. If Pandey doesn't get captaincy, he will leave. There are more than 3 teams that can offer him captaincy. He's saying Shlok. And
Bro, every team. What 3 teams? Which team doesn't want Hardik Pandya? Tell me one team would be like Hardik Pandya. क्या नहीं रहने दो यार. Hardik Pandya नहीं चाहिए अपने पास है. कौन?
I think RCB will pass upon him. RCB wouldn't want him.
No one's passing on. No one's passing on Hardik. They're not getting us the different thing. They're not passing on Hardik.
And Jugal also pointing out the fact that Paras Mamre returns as bowling coach for MI. So again, let's see how he kind of really handles all those youngsters over there. Speaking of Mumbai, only time will tell what them and the rest of the 9 teams do before the October 31st deadline, and that'll be a fun MNL. Speaking of MNL, I think Chandan was asking us, will there be a special 50th MNL episode? There will, of course, next week. We've not thought about what we want to do, but we'll try to make it as interactive as we've always made it.
Also, want to update on the auction front as well. So last week we were talking about Saudi Arabia being considered. So apparently now they've added Singapore to the list as well. मेरे को एक तो समझ नहीं आता. Auction है. मतलब world tour करा रहे हो क्या? Singapore, London, Saudi, Dubai में चुपचाप इंडिया में कर लो.
This auction is soon becoming like an IFA Awards, a film fair.
Exactly. Like ITC गार्डन क्या है भाई हमारे स्टूडियो के पास ही आ जाओ यहीं पे पहले जैसे करते थे कर लो हम भी आ जाएंगे देखने. Like, I don't understand. Like, last week we spoke about why Saudi Arabia makes sense, tourism, and Saudis also indirectly been sponsoring IPL through Aramco and whatnot. Singapore, तो भाई अब तो तुम ऐसे कुछ भी जो देश अच्छा लगता है कल को उठ के बोलेंगे हाँ चल यार बहुत टाइम से हम लोग आइसलैंड ग्रीनलैंड देखे नहीं है तो चलो घूम आते हैं वहाँ पे नॉर्दर्न लाइट्स भी देख लेंगे और ऑक्शन भी हो जाएगा.
फैन कैंप्स let's put in the fan camps भी कर लेंगे ना भाई.
Fan camps in Reykjavik, Avnish on broken flights, on wreckage. Avnish should talk of it and talk about cricket. That'll be fun for sure.
That will be fun indeed. Right, almost done with best of the rest. A few more things I just want to talk about. Just quickly rewinding to India's massacre of Bangladesh in Hyderabad. I think Vikas and Weber were lucky enough to be there and witness it, even though they didn't get tickets. They spoke to a lot of fans. Go check that out. In terms of the Hindi fan camps, it's available on our platform. But guys, 297. Did you guys think when Sanju got his 100, there was going to be 300 on the cards? And well done, Cheta. Yeah. I mean, I love Sanju Samson. We spoke about him being reborn as an opener, taking his chance and how 40 ball 100 and all of that. But were you guys thinking 300s on the cards? Because I was thinking, man, that 314 record that Nepal had against Mongolia, that's also in contention. So, Nick, I'll start with you here.
It definitely looked on, especially after that over with 5 sixes, and you felt. And the way, I think, lots of credit to Sanju. I don't think we kind of saw him in that confidence in the first few games, but the last one, the way he went down after that 50 to get to this ton was absolutely selfless, to put it in the right term that the producer hits. But it is what it is, That is the way the team is going. And to me, yes, Sanju played well. But I really cannot be more pleased for Hardik Pandya. I know he may not have contributed in terms of getting an 80-90, but dude, some of the shots that Hardik has played in this series, they were absolute gobsmacking. Yes, Sanju probably played the shot of the tournament when he hit that back foot punch of Mustafizur over extra cover for 6. But to me, Hardik Pandya in that hitting form is absolutely gold mine. So very, very happy for that aspect. Majority, yes, Sanju. It's a good take for Sanju to go, but I don't know how long that experiment will go, because once Jaiswal and Gill come back, maybe he becomes a reserve opener. We don't know. So good on Sanju to just ensure that he cannot be dropped. But for me, Hardik Pandya's hitting was a very big talking point in terms of something that will stay with me.
And the sheer arrogance, a few shots over there, absolutely loved it from Hardik Pandya. Got an 18 ball 47 as well and some cameos. But Sanju, in terms of leading run getter in this series, 150 runs for him. Varun Chakravarti on the other side, 5 wickets. So plenty of positives to that. What do you remember the series for? Will it be the 297? And Do you also now think, Akshay, India will be more gung-ho in their approach in T20s?
Yeah, I mean, like we discussed earlier as well, ki this change itself has been refreshing, and the fact that they have been so attacking, and the fact that they have so many bowling options important. यार अभी top 6 में ऐसा नहीं कि यार किसी को bowling नहीं आती यार किससे क्या करा अभी top 6 में ही आपके पास 3-4 options है. So that way it's good to see India have embraced the evolving T20 format, and it's good to see that now we can probably even say that they are ahead of the curve in some sense. Earlier, we always spoke about how India is lagging big time, which is why we don't do well in the in T20 World Cups. Bilaterals to जीत लेते हैं because single-handedly कोई एक आध century मार देगा, 80-90 मार लेगा. World Cups में हम लोग हग रहे हैं. Now I can confidently say that we are ahead of the curve. Like this 11, this team, not just 11, this bunch of 15-20 youngsters or T20 players, definitely looking very solid.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to be in store for India come that 2026 World Cup in India. They'll defend their own title on their own patch. And is that a wicket?
Nah. Pair hai, ekdam pair. Also, the equation is out. Pakistan need to chase this in 10.4 overs.
I just saw that. Never happening. Not a chance in the world.
Just informing our audience. Never happening.
Yeah, fair. 10.4 overs, like you mentioned over there.
But what happens? That will play in New Zealand's hands because if they keep going hard, then New Zealand can eventually win big. So that doesn't help them.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to be a 10.5 over finish. So Pakistan still not New Zealand.
20 bas cross kar jao yaar.
Indeed. Tanveer saying India just destroyed us in the entire series. I apologize if you're a Bangladesh fan watching this because it was a romp. He goes on to say Bangladesh is San Marino of cricket in terms of the Indeed. Oh my word, how's that misleg stump? India can make 10 teams easily and every team will beat Bangladesh. I agree with you on that.
Statement.
No way Gill should open in T20. Sanju at the top of the order will give proper balance here. And that's the thing, right? Again, with his brilliant 100, it makes you think how Abhishek Sharma, him, Jaiswal, all of them will fit that puzzle in T20s. Speaking of T20s, just one particular talking about from the Sri Lanka West Indies game next, because I know Akshay might have not seen it. West Indies going 1-0 up there, courtesy a good chase. But who was the star of the first T20 in Dambula?
Well, coming to Mendes continued his good run. And it's interesting that you mentioned the word chase because he eventually was part of it, but the majority of the job was done by the Southpaws. So, very interesting start for West Indies. Again, they're not having some of their star players. Russell isn't there, Puran is not there. But good to see Evan Lewis back. He's been back. I mean, he's been part of the setup in 2016 Florida. Century is what comes to mind. But good starts, good batting wickets, importantly. I think that is what I'm more keen on seeing. Asalanka again had a very good score. But West Indies King just set the tone with a very good 50 right on top. So, good start. But let's see how the entire series goes. I'm more keen to see the ODIs because T20s, yes, a lot of run fest. But yeah, ODIs might be interesting.
Yeah, the ODIs follows the 3 T20s. It's a white ball tour that West Indies are currently having in Sri Lanka. It goes up all the way to the 26th of October. Right, done with best of the rest. We'll move on to Akshay's quiz right now. But as always, what is to watch this week? Plenty of cricketing action. Tomorrow, Pakistan, England, Multan, second test day 1. There is, of course, like I mentioned, Sri Lanka, West Indies at second T20 as well. Then the England-West Indies Women's World Cup game is also finally poised because if England lose, they could go out. So keep an eye on that. Of course, Akshay and the panelists will be, of course, picking the bones about tonight's game and tomorrow's game as well. And then there's plenty of other things to look forward to. I mean, down the line next Monday, Bangladesh, South Africa. So we'll preview that for you all. I think that'll be Shakib's farewell series and the final of the Women's World Cup on Sunday. So some pivotal dates to look forward to in cricket this week. Right. We've been doing some really good things as well in terms of sending our boys all over the shop. LLC just got over and we bumped into a former RCB legend and we asked him to pick his all-time ODI 11 and he had some guts to drop a king.
Lovely Sailor, Gilchrist, Ellis, Kaduka, Damien Martin, maybe Andrew Simons, Bumrah, Shane Moore, Morley. Yeah, they'll stay.
Now, I like the picks of Damien Martin and Andrew Simons and all of that, but how do you not have Virat Kohli, Colin de Grande? We played and shared a dressing room with him, but good on Shubh and Akash to, of course, get those bites for us. And there's more LLC content if you guys want on Instagram and so on and so forth. And I say that, and Alia has lost her wicket for Pakistan, so New Zealand already making inroads. Akshay, want to jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was a very interesting move. Alia Riaz usually bats at number 5, number 6 for them. So clearly, they also are playing this game with the intention of trying to make it to the semis. They're not here just to win the game. Hota hai yaar. Matlab, she did do decently against Australia, so that's what also probably made them explore this move. But he kya bhi. Matlab, jo hai, I'd rather have them die trying than, just suck it out. From a Team Pakistan POV, as a Team India fan, of course, yeah, something to be scared of.
Okay, more with Akshay and the panelists, like I said, later on tonight. So that will be 11 o'clock, I'm guessing, show for that one. Time to, of course, move on to Akshay's quiz in Howzzat. Right, so fantastic comments coming through for last week's Howzzat, which was, of course, a mind bender. But a few people did get it right. Right, Akshay, you take over from here.
Yeah, I mean, so it was fairly simple in the sense the question was very obvious. Name all players who've completed the double of 500 runs and 25 wickets in T20 World Cup fixtures. It was very heartening to see a lot of you actually venturing a guess, and quite a few of you got it right as well. So the answer, of course, is a list of 6 names that include Shahid Afridi, Dwayne Bravo, Shakib Al Hasan, Stephanie Taylor, Deandra Doughton, and Sophie Devine. These are the 6 players to have completed the double of 500 runs and 25 wickets. A lot of you got it right, but only one lucky winner, and that lucky winner is Vishal Kulkarni. So congratulations on getting it right. You get a 500 rupee Amazon voucher from us. So do DM us on Twitter, and our social media team will do the needful. Coming to this week's Howzzat, bhai sahab, itne sare graphics hai. Where is that? There we go. All right. So again, a bit wordy, but very simple. Just keeping in the theme of current affairs. The recent spate of coach signings in IPL, of course, have all been rare occurrences. Only 3 IPL coaches have come back to be the head coach of the same side. Separately, there have been only 3 instances of someone being the head coach of 3 different IPL franchisees. So all we want you guys to guess is who these 6 folks are. Once again, there have been only 3 IPL coaches who have come back to be the head coach of the same side. I want you guys to name who these 3 people are. Further, there have been only 3 instances of the same person being the head coach of 3 different IPL franchisees. Of course, not at the same point in time. That's fairly obvious, just to be clear. But I want you guys to guess who the first 3 folks are and who the next 3 folks are. There you go. Bit wordy, but let's hope you guys get it right. And unfortunately, our producer isn't too happy with it. But yeah, this is the graphic. Let's hope. Yeah, okay, he is back in time. Yeah.
It's your quiz. Take it up. I was getting another. Oh, you're done. Oh, you're done. Oh, my bad.
एक तो इतना बड़ा है, ऊपर से बोल भी दिया. Once again, please do not key in your answers in the live chat. Wait for the live stream to win and enter your answers in the main comment section to stand a chance to win yourself a voucher from us. So there you go.
Indeed. I was going to go get a beer, but Pakistan also going to get this chase done. Hopefully, brilliant stuff there and good stuff with Akshay. And keep your comments coming through. Remember, after the show is done, and who knows, you guys can win yourselves a good hamper. Let me just kind of go to the 12th man section. But a man who's, I think, been 12th man for India quite a few times was a guy who we caught up last month, and that's the Unwind this week. Here's a teaser. Why do you think they haven't won an IPL trophy?
Well, the difference is that they don't have Chris and AB now, so, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
And the only reason I can see why they haven't won an IPL yet, because I feel they really need to start investing in domestic talent. If you see, there's KL Rahul, there's Mayank Agarwal, there is Karun Nair, Manish Pandey. I feel if these guys were playing, they would have had one of the best domestic batting lineups. Even if you take 2 out of 3, they've all been a part of the setup at some point, but they were part of the setup when they were really young, when they've not established themselves.
More on that with absolutely compelling chat with Varun Aaron drops this Friday 7 p.m. It's going to be a good one. And if you guys haven't checked out the last couple of unwinds, go check it out. The one with the Women's World Cup going on makes sense to go check out the Sneh Rana episode. Pakistan get a reprieve over there, but again, they're swimmingly moving on in that chase. Look, the whole episode 49 has had bits of this New Zealand Pakistan game, so take it as it is and just soak it up. Time to move on to the final segment of Monday Night Live, and that is you guys, the 12th man. Right, so we've had some belting questions throughout the course of the last 1 hour, 20 minutes. We'll take quite a few of them right now. Pulled away in some disdain for 4. Sorry, I'm getting carried away with Muniba here. She's reminding me of Fucker Zaman girl version, bro. Have a laugh. Absolutely have a laugh.
प्रोड्यूसर साहब एक्चुअली फखर जमान को पसंद करते हैं, मतलब वैसे छोटे कंपैरिजन के साथ तौहीन कर रहे हो
ऐसा बोल के भी आउट होएगी तो दुख होएगा, बताओ नहीं इसको.
There's a producer साहब like Fucker because Virat is Babar.
क्या हो गया तुम सबको? एक दो, हाँ चलो बात करो अब नहीं.
Okay, one sec. So we'll get the first 12th man question to Akshay, because Saroj KR asking, why was... Oh, fuck me, man. She's gone.
हाइप करके
Fucking hell. Just let me-
करके आउट.
Anyway, apologies to my French. Why was Yash Dayal dropped? Let's take that one to start off the 12th man questions. What do you think the reason is? And also, Harshit Rana, I mean, is GG done KKR a favor or what?
I mean, he supposedly was on with viral fever. One of those जहाँ उसको भी पता नहीं था कि शायद भाई मेरे को वायरल हुआ है. ये तो लेटेस्ट न्यूज़ है, मेरे को ही नहीं पता. ये वो वाला सीन है शायद. But in terms of why was Yash Dayal dropped, I don't think there was any reason as such. यार why का मैं क्या जवाब दूँ? They already, with Akash Deep all but sealing his spot in the Bangladesh series, they had their trifecta of pacers ready. So I'm guessing they wanted to stick to it, and they wanted Yash Dayal to play the Ranji Trophy that's begun. अगर Yash Dayal यहाँ squad में होता, then he would have to be benched. So they might have thought कि बस it's much better for him to go and play Ranji Trophy games, and in the process also do RCB a small favor. That's it.
Okay, I'll give one more to Akshay before I'll give one more to Nix. Santosh Urapa saying, looking at Cam Green's surgery in the shadow of unavailability for IPL, do you think RCB could retain Virat, Patidas, Siraj, Yash is the uncapped, and the use of RTM and Faf Will Jacks? What do you think?
Nope. Now I feel it's fairly clear if RCB aren't going to retain Cam Green, just retain Virat, retain Yash Dayal, take 4 RTMs with you to the auction and take a call. Because Siraj, I don't think is worth 14 crores, and is that a 4? It isn't a 4. Siraj isn't worth 14 crores, and neither is Rajat. Both of them are perfect for the 11 crore slot. So इससे अच्छा RTM कर लो, तो take that risk. Or else worst cases, Siraj 14, Rajat 11. If they're really sure कि boss हमें एक और चाहिए, we don't want to risk going to the auction and someone inflating the prices. So worst case of it, Virat, Siraj, Rajat in that order, and Yash Dayal. नहीं तो personally I would want them to just go ahead with Virat and Yash, because I think you'll get Rajat and Siraj for less than 25 crores in the auction, 14 plus 11. मेरे हिसाब से 25 करोड़ से ज्यादा दोनों को मिला के auction में नहीं होगा, but देखते हैं मतलब how they look at it. But this is what I think.
Just retain Virat and start fresh, man. Maybe write to match Loki if you want.
Not comparing your show.
It was a joke. Nix, how do you see Bumrah workload being managed in this New Zealand series before the BGT? We spoke about Shami, so I'll give Nix the first part of this question.
Yeah, I told you just a while back as well, I didn't expect Bumrah to be part of this setup. I genuinely felt there was no need for that. And again, this is not taking New Zealand lightly. This is just keeping in mind Bumrah's workload. So I see him starting, and of course now he's named vice captain. So that's no point of your vice captain not starting. So it will be very interesting. I would hope they play him one and then keep him fresh for the other two. I'm too scared by Zaid Khan 2011. If you know, you know. And I don't want that to ever happen again with any of the Indian bowlers. So I would hope Bumrah only plays one test and then he's rested. So hopefully that is the case.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, that's a good shot, but for no run. More questions to quickly take. There's a lot with regards to RCB, which you've just discussed right now. So I'll let that be. There was one with regards to what was it? Yeah, we took this one with regards to Jayawardene, right? In the global head role. I think Akshay answered that one earlier as well. And one more question coming through, which was emerging Asia Cup 11, asking Jugal. Uh, Quite a few talents to look out for in that tournament. Like Akshay said, Gurgaon, Gilchrist, Anuj Raut will be there in that. Who are the other Indian names in that emerging Asia Cup tournament?
I'm blanking out on the squad itself, but there are a lot of interesting names. Itna yaad hai meko, if I'm not wrong. No, I will be wrong. Meko yaad hi, I'm blanking out. I know Sai Kishore is a part of it. Tilak is captain.
Tilak is leading that 11, that entire squad. So very interesting to see again T20 format. Hai. So I'm looking forward to them having a very. It will be great if they play the aggressive route that the GG era wants them to play, because Tilak hai, Abhishek hai, you have Badoni there, Nishant Sandhu again, and prospect that
Nishant Sandhu was,
hopefully he can get good amount of opportunities. You have Prabh Simran up top as well. So Sai Kishore. So a lot of good names. No, I don't think Sai Sudarshan is part of that setup. So Anshul hai, Ritik Shogin, Akib Khan, Vaibhav Varada, Rasid Salam, Sai Kishore, Rahul Chen.
So, Abhinav Manohar isn't there, Ramandeep Singh is there. Itna yaad hai, because I remember thinking, yaar, Abhinav Manohar kaise nahi hai, Ramandeep Singh ko liya in logon ne.
So yeah, I think a lot of good names for people to keep an eye on, even with the auction at length, because you'll have Prabh Simran and others as well will be looked at for teams.
Yeah, and just what excites me is forget the Indian names. Generally, the competition, now that I've Googled it, 8 teams, and like you said, next T20 style. So let's see who's going to be the next era in terms of the Asian subcontinents coming through. Right, last one. Abbas Kunde asked us this before, but I will take it up. Don't you think it's too early for Nitish Harshit to be in the travelling reserves? Akshay, you have first go and then next.
Absolutely not. Yeah, traveling reserves ही तो है, इतना तो कर ही सकते हो. Like again, this is the first time they've announced it. नहीं तो इस सबको net bowlers के तौर पे तो लेके जाते ही रहते हैं भाई. हमें पता नहीं होता ठीक से कौन कहाँ खेल रहा है. It's perfectly fine and the right move to have them a part. Have them part of the setup. So I don't see anything wrong in that.
Okay, we'll give actually this one to Nix, because Akshay summed that up well. After Samson's innings, do you feel he should be India's first choice wicketkeeper in T20s? Because Pant has been woeful in the format with 70 plus matches.
Yeah, and I think that is something that is going to only catch more fire if he comes good versus South Africa also, because see, he's playing at a spot that is very open. We discussed about this even in the previous MNL, how the wicketkeeper slot in the T20I format, India have not cracked it, if you can say ever. Whether it was MS, KL, Rishabh, whoever has come in, never settled. Samson has had his time. Now, if he can become consistent, I think it will just break the window wide open for him. And it will put good enough pressure on Rishabh also that now you cannot have those 20s, 30s. He will have to give you those 50s, 60s, 70s. Again, not milestone driven, but big knocks. So, which is why it's very important for Samson to back this with a good South Africa series. And hopefully that is the case for him.
Okay, and a final one from Chandan Ramaya. Any updates in the first round of Ranji? I mean, I glimpsed through some of the scorecards. Tamil Nadu getting the job done against Saurashtra in Coimbatore. Sai Kishore captaining, and he had decent figures as well, getting 3 for in the first innings. Then you take a look at what I think Mumbai getting beaten by Baroda in Vadodara. That was something to, of course, look at as well. And some other fascinating results, all available on the cricket.com website. And there's some good features also being put out by our lads over there. Right. Guys, thanks so much for your time in terms of tuning to yet another episode of the Monday Night Live podcast. This is a weekly podcast that we do. I know there's plenty of new people who've entered the cricket.com community through various sort of subscriptions. I know our recent academy video that we shot with Bharat in Chennai has gone really, really well. So go check that out if you guys haven't already. It's about how coaches are being coached rather in Coaching Beyond. I'm going to stop looking at this New Zealand-Pakistan game like momentarily. I'll look at it fully right now because it's going to be a fascinating watch. Check out Akshay's post-match show and check out Nix's fantasy show tomorrow. Until I see you boys the next time, have a great week ahead, lads.
Cheers.
See ya.
Okay, cheers. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Remember, Monday Night Live is also available on Spotify. If you guys are listeners over there, give us some love. And of course, later on in this week, I mentioned the unwind bit. If you guys are just joining us, don't worry. My producer already kind of put the time codes in. So whatever we've spoken about, from Babar to England to, of course, Sanju as well, it's all there in this episode. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from us. Cheers.